Good morning, traders. I hope you guys are excited as I am to get started another day right here on the #1 morning show, Pre-Market Prep. I hope you guys are excited. We're going to get into today's action. We got a sea of red showing up a little bit here. Stock futures markets heading lower here into the open. Jerome Powell today testifying. Don't miss that. That's going to be at 9:30. We'll talk a little bit about that. Oil slumping a little bit. Of course, on Biden talks, we'll mention that. And DOJ concerns in Meta, groundbreaking settlement agreement. We'll talk, of course, on that. And Winnebago earnings out. Revlon still getting a little bit of a push. We'll look into a little bit on Revlon. And, of course, our guest today, Raghee Horner, Managing Director of Futures at Simpler Trading. If you guys want to go ahead and smash up the like, I'll give you guys some love and get you the information you guys need to get your day started. Of course, I'm Money Mitch, and welcome to Pre-Market Prep. Hit the subscribe button. Let's get some subscribers today.
Coming to you live from downtown Detroit, this is Benzinga's Pre-Market Prep with your host, Joel Elconin.
This is a volatile puppy here, isn't it?
And Dennis Dick.
I'm bidding a penny. I will buy the stock for a penny.
With everything you need to start your trading day.
Good morning, traders. Let's go. Let's bring on my man, Joel Conan, Triple D, Dennis Dick. How you guys doing this morning? And welcome to it. Let's get started.
We're doing okay. Easy come, easy go. The Bears are in control today. The Bulls had control Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Bears come fighting back. We're down 51 and a quarter handles, 37.16 and a quarter. We've been leaking from the open and then had a little flush about 4 or 5 a.m. Crude tanking down 555 at 103.97. Gold up $1, 18.40. Silver in the red by 31 cents, 21.46. Bitcoin, another dip under 20K. That was bought, but we're still down 375 at 24.85. And Ethereum futures back over 1,000, down $29 though at 1093.50. Triple D. Can you think of the worst possible time for Jerome Powell to be speaking? What is the worst possible time?
Who schedules Jerome Powell to speak at 9:30 a.m. Eastern on the button? Let's just have him speak right when liquidity is at its lowest point, and that is when the markets open. 9:30 Eastern, we get the opening tick, and liquidity is at its lowest point, and that's when you get the wild gyrations. Let's throw some Fed speak right into that. Idiots to have him start speaking at 9:30 Eastern. But, I mean, hopefully he's delayed a few minutes. Maybe he doesn't get into the meat until like 9:45, 9:50.
You know he has to trade the open, Dennis.
Why have him speak at 9:30 on the button? Insanity, man. Nobody has ever traded a stock that's scheduled that meeting. I will tell you that. So, whatever. You like volatility? You like volatility? Traders like volatility. Let's go. Let's do it.
What's he gonna say? Sure. I mean, what can he say that we don't
Same
already
stuff. Know? Gonna say, let's see, they're gonna keep attacking inflation. They gotta wait till they get a tick before they start, laying off here. So, I mean, we know what they're waiting for. We need the CPI data to start coming.
Yeah.
So, as people say, it's still busy out there. There's still lots going on. So there hasn't been a hell of a lot of demand destruction yet. It will happen. It's been wealth destruction, which is anticipating the demand destruction, but it hasn't happened yet. Just ask Winnebago. I mean, their earnings blew it away.
We can go to that, but definitely
we'll bring it back because it's a nice segue into just talking about the past and talking about the future, and we're right at the crossroads here. But I mean, you've got orders, people were still buying that stuff, probably filling their orders, sales last quarter. But I just think going forward here, it isn't going to be nearly as easy. But give us the earnings for WGO.
Let's do it. We remember in 2020 just how important Winnebago was. Let's talk about the EPS now, though. Q3 adjusted EPS here, $4.13, beating the $2.96 estimate. Yes, that was a pretty good beat there. Sales beating at 1.46 billion of a 1.2 billion estimate, but it looks like it was. I don't know. I would expect a little bit more of a bounce there in that EPS. So it's probably a future outlook. What do you guys think?
and I don't know if they've said anything yet. They probably haven't had the conference call yet. The earnings just came out an hour ago. Usually the conference calls come around 8:30. But, if they give any guidance at all, they probably won't. They just, they could pull a Lennar, which is exactly what they did, and said, well, if we gave guidance, we'd be guessing. You know why they're not giving guidance? Because they know it's going to be bad. I mean, people are going to slow down their home building, and they're not buying Winnebagos going forward. So you can say, wow, look how much money they make. This is your classic value trap. Demand destruction will occur for WGO. Gas prices through the roof. You should see the boat prices. Boats, Winnebagos, same thing. The boat prices are just dropping around me. I'm in like the whole boating area. There are boat prices. The one person was asking 95 for this rinker, 95,000. Then they dropped it to 85. Then they dropped it to 75. This on Kijiji I'm watching because I was like, this is a nice boat.
Yeah.
This dropped it to 50,000.
Oh, go 40.
They literally just cut it in 2.5 months. They cut the price in half on that used boat.
Go 40 bid.
Now, obviously they want out, but there is just
Joel and I want
boats.
in.
I don't even know if you need to. There's so many boats available. There's not the gas prices. Winnebago sucks the gas too. There will be epic demand destruction.
That's the truth, right?
That's the truth, man. So I mean, you talk about all the sectors, that could get hit in recession. Nothing's going to get hit harder than Winnebago. These are Winnebago, like that's worse than the automotives. So they're killing it. They're making a lot of money. You do any valuation, you're like, this stock is dirt cheap. But those earnings you're seeing right now are not going to be next year's earnings. I'm saying that right now.
Well, I think you just brought up a good one to kind of keep on watch with this also is I would watch Malibu Boats, MBUU.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Just because it's kind of included in kind of really in this sector. It's recreational vehicle.
What's the symbol?
MBUU. So 1.1 billion capitalization. They make boats.
There you go. 90 to 50.
Let's see what Dennis, let me see before this, what kind of volume this traded. Well, first of all, Dennis.
It trades a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
It's not the worst.
You won't be. So, Dennis, for the guy that's go 40 bid, on that boat.
On that boat.
And then he'll turn around and like you hit the bid, and if you're in your pit, you'll be like, I'm selling it a half. Like, no, I'm not bid. I'm offered. But here's my theory on Winnebago. People can't afford their houses anymore, and they're selling their houses, and they're buying Winnebagos to live in. So that's a thing.
Joel's find the bull thesis in there. I like it. Thinking outside the box. I like that.
What a pop. I mean, what was this stock doing up over 48.50? I mean, come on. If anybody in this pre-market prep bought this at 48.75,
it's the algos,
you just might as well stop lifting. And I don't want you listening to my show.
Yeah. These algo traders, a lot of these algo traders, not Virtue, not Citadel, they're geniuses. But the other algo traders, there's a lot of them out there that have no idea what they're doing. Oh, their earnings beat, we buy.
Yeah, the EPS beat right off of it's like $1.16 beat there. I'm sure the algos jumped all over that. But
Money,
in this environment,
it's just we're in this environment where there are still algorithms written out there that were, for 2 years ago or last year in bull markets. A lot of these algorithms need to be adjusted, and that's who's buying it. They see the beat and they just automatically buy, and that killed it for a long time. But now maybe it's still working because there's obviously some beats that the stocks will continue to higher, but this one's logic wins. I mean, and again, same thing with Kellogg yesterday. I mean, we got this absolutely right. The stock was trading 73 in the pre-market. I think it was 72 by the time we got on the show. And, absolutely correct. There's no way that was going to hold the gains, and it couldn't even hold it for a day. I'm like, I think I look back this, in a couple weeks, it'll be down. No, it can't even hold it for one day. So I don't know. Maybe they're going to say something cool in the conference call. The earnings were great. Winnebago, victim of what they're going to be. They're not even a victim yet, but they're going to be a victim of what we're going into. That's my prediction. So that's why I'm not buying the WGO value trap.
Yeah, just
definitely.
we spend more time on Winnebago than any other news outlet. Forget about 48.75. Holding, this is on the 15-minute, holding 46.30. How long will that last? I don't know. I'll look at the top of yesterday. It's already filling the gap. The top first, you got to reset it Friday at yesterday's high, 47.05. So I'll give you that level, man. You got to get back above 47.05. That's yesterday's high. See if you can mount a rally.
Bring it back to the markets. Bring it back to Powell.
Go.
Bring it back to oil. Bring it back to everything that everybody's crowded into, including the short Revlon. Crowded trades getting nailed here. If you're never short a bankrupt stock, one. Should we go to it? Where do you want to go?
Let's go to let's do oil talk with
oil
Biden here. I think this is an important talk to get into. It's definitely a watch out there, as we did see kind of oil bounce back yesterday, but today oil slumping a little bit here. Oil slumps as Biden set to cut fuel costs for drivers. U.S. President Joe Biden on Wednesday will call on Congress to pass a 3-month suspension of federal gas tax to help combat record pump prices. According to a senior administration official, the president will call on states to temporarily suspend state fuel taxes, which often are actually higher than the Fed rates. And the official says that he will also challenge major oil companies to come to a meeting with his energy secretary later this week with ideas on how to bring back idled refinery capacity. So they're oil slumping on this news.
Demand destruction coming for this industry as well. Don't kid yourself that oil will get hit as well if we go into a recession. With that being said, great points, obviously, yesterday by Stephanie Link on her show. The break even's a hell of a lot lower. These stocks are still printing money up here. So even if oil comes in, these stocks are still printing money. So I do think, if you get a pullback significantly enough, that there's some trades here. So if I was looking at buying on the pullbacks, and I'm buying nothing on pullbacks, but if I was, I'd look at the low from 2 days ago. So looking at Friday's lows on all these oil stocks. ExxonMobil too, interesting because they got that, the David Faber ExxonMobil special coming up tonight. You're getting the pullback here.
Yeah.
I think you'll have people. So if you're looking at what to buy today as day traders, I do think some of this oil dip might get bought today. So if I was, and I am a trader, just for trades, I think I'd be buying the dip on the oil stocks.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to get that, though, for like the Exxon.
No, you're not getting all the way back down.
No, you're not.
What's 50% of the 2-day move? 85, 65,
there you go.
up to like 92.5, $7. Take off the 3.5. Oh, you're below it. So
yeah,
Slightly below it.
Yeah.
Yesterday's low, 88.52. It's kind of holding there, ExxonMobil.
Yeah, give it a little wiggle room.
Yeah,
give it a little, a little wiggle room there.
Yeah, I
wouldn't mind that. I mean, but it's something like if you're looking at it on a day trade, I mean, you're gonna have to, pick an uncle point, right? Because you don't want to write it down to 85, 80, down to the low of the move. Another trick that you can employ on this one too is, hands off on the open when Powell's speaking. Let's say they blast it to I bet you there's some decent bids at 88, right? Institutional bids. Maybe they do a little flush and they take out the low and then they come back up through the open. And then whatever that initial low is, like let's say you open 88.50, you flush to 88.10, then you come back up through the open. Then you got a reference point and you can lean on that 15-minute, whatever, 10, 5, 10, 15-minute low. That's one possible way to play it. Because crude is down 5. Plus also you could blink and crude could be at like 106.5, 107, a $2 rally.
Change in a hurry.
Yeah. Yep. So that's what I'm looking at.
I like the little chart you did there, though, that ExxonMobil just doing. So on the top right, we're looking at here. I think yesterday's low. I do think the dip today gets bought in oil stocks. I think there's some people who saw yesterday's rally and think this is a second chance. So I'm so inclined to buy the dip here on oil. Not putting it in the long-term account, but I think as trades, I think there's an opportunity. Could be wrong.
Yeah.
CVX, you might get a look at half, right? What was that? That was 140. We could call it like a 10-point move. So half of that, you're below that level too. And also when you get these kind of formations, right? Like people are thinking like, why did I buy this at 148, 147, 146, right? From Thursday. They never even had a chance at it with the way they moved the spoos on Sunday and Monday. So maybe not people like bringing in, trying necessarily to get long. But after you see that thing move 10, 11 points off the low, they're thinking, man, if it goes back down to 149 again, I think I'm going to buy a little bit, in case the lower the moves in. So that's what I'm looking at in the oils.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be too many long road trips. I did see comments in the chat telling Joel and I to go visit Dennis, but I was like, man, that's going to be expensive, man.
Yeah, go buy your Winnebago. There you go.
I wanted to
Drive
go
on
take
up.
that boat for Dennis. We'd split it, man. Go 50-50, but
Yeah, we could do that.
Could we
do
go
that. I
on the road?
50-50 on boats.
the only
could
thing
go-
is you gotta drive it down to Florida sometimes so I
crap.
could use it.
I got to go all the way down to Florida. I take it through the St. Lawrence, and that'll be interesting. So I'm not into that. I don't know. You have to come
Could
up
you
and get it,
imagine
Mitch.
though if we did go on the road, like if we souped up a Winnebago?
Hell
and
yeah,
like we
let's
went,
do
and we
it.
went to all these different
Paint
cities.
pre-market prep all over the
Pre-market
side.
Yeah.
prep
Road trip.
Yeah.
around the U.S.
Have concerts and everything,
Could be
and
fun.
we would like Rome used to do that.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Rome.
I like that idea.
Dennis cut out there. I hope everything's okay. Nope.
He
I
Dennis
just got
is
sneezed,
back.
invaders.
Joel. I sneezed. Do you want me to sneeze on you? I'm sick again.
No, you've coughed on me about 7 times.
I'm
over the
making
last
everybody
2
on the show
shows.
sick right now.
Dennis,
It's utterly amazing. I was sick 2 weeks ago, and it's slowly getting better, and now the last 2 days I'm getting worse. So I've either got another cold, which would be, I think, the 7th cold of the season,
Not
or
going this-
I'm somewhat, for some reason, just getting worse. So I don't know what's going on, but I've definitely got a cold kicking.
I'll tell you, there's actually a company that's very like you right now, Dennis. We're gonna go ahead and transition in here. We'll go to Meta. Meta's the same way. I feel like it's just sick.
Got a cold.
Can't
too,
stop.
Yeah.
Has a cold. Can't get
Yeah.
rid of it.
I think you're right.
Let's go ahead. Let's take a look here. Justice Department secures groundbreaking settlement agreement with Meta Platforms, formerly known as Facebook, to resolve allegations of a discriminatory advertising. So a settlement agreement resolving the allegations here has engaged in discriminatory advertising in violations of the Fair Housing Act. And so under the settlement, Meta will stop using the advertising tool known as the Special Ad Audience tool that, according to department complaints, relies on discriminatory algorithm. Meta will also develop a new system to address racial and other disparities caused by the use of personalization algorithms in its ad delivery system for housing ads. One of the things that is mentioned here also is that the system will be subject to the DOJ's approval and court oversight. So I don't think that's what you wanted to hear if you were a Meta investor.
I think there's more. I think there's more bad news out there, Dennis. Don't you? I mean,
Wow, they don't. They invested, went full into a business, and they said it's not even going to make them money till like 2030. I mean, as soon as they said that, you had to sell this stock. I got a small piece of my kid's RESP. Sorry, I guess I'll never go to university. That's, in Canada, that's the
At least not on that one.
I'll be right back. I'll be right back.
No worries.
Joel's
I got
leaving
you,
us.
Joel.
The stock's making new lows. You got to go. If you're in it for a trade, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, this has just been an epic disaster. Value is cheap, but it's been a value trap. I don't know. We'll hear from Zuckerberg on Kramer tonight. He's being featured. He can actually, it's got advertised. So I guess they heard us talking about it. They threw the ad up there on CNBC. So let's see what he says. But, you know, it could get a little lift into that interview. You often do see relative strength into a big Kramer interview like that. But, man, value trap. This has been an epic disaster.
You know, one of the stocks, and I'll go ahead and I'll share my screen here so you guys can see that chart. Is well, I'll let Joel cover Meta, but one of the charts that's really interesting to me now is Snap. How is Snap going to react to this? How are the different social platforms going to react to this? Because whenever I see DOJ being mentioned anywhere, I don't only take a look at that stock, I take a look at the industry overall to see if others are going to start getting hit upon this. recent kind of example on this was a DOJ mentions with MasterCard and Visa with cryptocurrencies. And then really shortly after that, we got destroyed. But let's go ahead. Let's look at my man swimming in the metaverse, Joel Conan.
Nice.
Yeah.
Look at that.
My Father's Day present. Right
Look at
here,
this.
baby.
Is that
Can you
metaverse stuff?
I'm going to be swimming in the metaverse.
Come
Yes.
on.
Yes.
Is that for real?
They're Form Swim goggles. Okay. I got them for Father's Day. And can you see the control there? Okay. It's going to take me a couple of weeks to figure it out.
I see you.
But prescribed
Taking
workouts,
over.
stroke analysis, heartbeat rate, everything. Prescribed workouts,
I'm loving this.
everything.
In the metaverse?
Yeah, I'm going to be swimming in the metaverse.
What do you need goggles for if you're swimming in the metaverse?
The
You're not
metaverse
getting
is
water
going to
in
be
your
with me in
eyes.
the pool.
Smash the like,
I'm going to
guys.
wear these in the pool, Dennis.
Oh, they go into the pool. Well, that's not the metaverse. That's the pool.
But the metaverse is going to be giving me workouts.
Just don't get electrocuted, please.
No,
Joel.
Yeah.
I need you, my friend.
Yeah,
And,
electronics and water, they doesn't mix. Joel.
Oh,
I'm not
yeah.
sure
No,
about
these are
this.
good. The only thing about this is I can't throw them to hook them on the lane lines, or the backstroke.
Someone
lines.
said I knew Joel was an alien.
There it is, man. I am
Joel,
in
you
the
look
metaverse.
crazy.
I got Dana's going to have to help me figure out how to work them. But anyways,
Did you get those from Elon?
That's my Father's Day present.
Oh, there you go. What a gift. What a gift, right?
Wow. You got some really good stuff.
There you go, man.
Exciting.
stuff
Metaverse,
there,
so exciting.
What'd you
I'm
get
so
for Father's
excited to do
Day,
everything
Dennis?
in the metaverse.
What did you get?
Some macaroni,
That's
you
a good
know.
question. Just throw me
on a
under the bus
paper.
here because I've already forgotten. I got some nice cards for my kids. There was
There
a
you
present
go.
in there. I'm trying to remember what it was, but I'm so sick right now. I can't. I'm trying to just function by putting two words together. You're trying to make me remember 3 days ago.
This is the homemade art, right, Dennis? So the macaroni just.
Oh yeah, the kids do some wonderful art. They do some nice cards. They do a nice job. So did get a nice gift too. Honestly, I hope my wife's not listening because I don't remember right now, and my head is clouded. So I don't remember, but I'm sure it was good. It wasn't metaverse goggles though. Try that.
So I want to know when Joel really beats the Phelps numbers. That's what I want to see. I want to see my man taking on Phelps.
Not quite, but I'll be aging up to the 60 to 64 category. So I'm gonna
Hey,
be
taking a
couple
taking
years.
it over.
I gotta
Taking
start
over.
training now. Beat those old guys. But anyway, sorry about that, guys. We were talking about Facebook. You are below the April low, or you are coming
That
up
sounds
on the
bad.
April low. If you want to level 150.83, that was your April low for Meta platforms. Don't change your name, man. Don't change your symbol. Don't change
Square
your
to
name.
block, disaster. Facebook to Meta, disaster. There you go. Joel, write the algorithm for that one. As soon as you got an established company changing their name, stock implodes. Yeah, I'm with you there, man. Change your name. That's stupid.
Yeah.
Facebook to block or Square to block was dumb. Everybody's going to call it block forever. I still call Google Alphabet Google. Everybody does. Stop changing your names on these established companies. You did brand marketing for so long. You just throw all that away, and now you got a new name, Meta. I don't even know what the hell it is. I honestly don't even know what the hell Meta Platforms is. It's not Facebook. I have no idea what it is, to be honest
I
with you.
think the advertising.
I don't think they know even what it is. They just thought Meta's cool a year ago. Let's change our name to Meta. That was a dumb idea. I hope Kramer asked him that tonight, why he changed his name, because that was a dumb idea.
At least my thinking. Yeah, my thinking there would just be as simple as they saw this probably heading into the direction that you're seeing now, with the DOJ stepping in on all these algorithms for advertising. If we look back, we saw Apple changing policies. We saw Google changing policies. So I think a little part of that, they saw their own business kind of getting destroyed underneath them. So they did everything possible to kind of, like my man Joel likes to talk about, the financial engineer the company in a way that could still seem attractive to investors. That was the metaverse, but I think they were definitely early. And if you look, the products that they've been coming out with, that they're saying they're coming out with, they just canceled 2 of those products. So I think, at least in my eyes, I think we need some new products. I think we actually need something to tell me, hey, we're going into the metaverse. And until we get that, the story ain't changing, guys.
I think
the opposite of attractive.
Advertising spend.
Definitely. Advertising. And advertising, yeah, it hasn't been pointing toward the upside. Let's continue here with the Wall Street's bet stock. I'm going to call it that because it seems like they got the attention of Wall Street Bet and Reddit. Let's go to Revlon here as stock soars 65% on buyout rumors. Retail investor interest. I'm seeing a lot of interest out there on Wall Street Bets. And this isn't a new rumor. This was out a little while ago. And the big thing here, I think, is that Wall Street Bets is claiming high short interest here on this name. So they're going after it. Who knows where this can stop? And I think this is definitely something to keep on mind and take like kind of learning lesson. I'll let Dennis kind of pitch that.
2 rules. Don't short stocks under $5. Nothing ever good happens. Second thing.
Why? Just really quickly for the new investor out
when
there.
When they're small, low float and they're low price,
Risk
they can
reward.
just explode so easy on you.
Yeah,
I
like
rarely.
that,
I'm always.
statement.
If you are doing, got to have a tight leash. You're shorting stocks under $5. You got to have a tight leash.
Remember,
that's
you
why
got
there's a reason
$5.
why it's not. They're not marginable under $5.
$5 to the profit, unlimited risk to the upside.
There you
go. So I think that's the important thing to remember here is that is the $5 worth the unlimited risk? And I think that's one thing. And the second thing is
we've seen this again and again and again. Bankrupt stocks don't go straight to zero. They do funny things. They get money managers coming in. It's bankrupt. I'm going to short at $2 and just collect the $2. It is not that simple. They just simply don't go down. Obviously, there was some rumors that this might have a buyer for it. That was what kickstarted it. Now Wall Street Bets is running with it. Now you're in a full-on short squeeze. This stuff is just, I stay away from it. It starts mentioned on Wall Street Bets. I just stay away. And then when the dust settles, does the stock go lower? Very, very, very likely. Where it stops, who knows? Maybe this thing hits $10. I would think logical stopping spot might be $10. I'm not saying it's going there. I'm not going to buy it at 8 and go for 10. They pull the rug on this thing that's 6, 5. This is just throw your money on red or black at the roulette wheel, and that's what this is. Just pure gambling. I'm out.
Yeah, I'll relate a company that I've called similar to this, and there's a reason why I don't go shorting it, and that's SDC, Smile Direct Club. I think it's a very similar company.
$1.
That's $1?
What
now
do you
it is.
Short a
now
stock
it is.
at a
It's.
buck?
I mean, I've been talking about this since like 10 or 15, but to me, I didn't even short it either because I just didn't think. I mean, the risk to reward was that big here, but very similar stock, high short interest flow. Who knows? Eventually, maybe you hear something about this. But yeah, these are kind of stocks that, yeah, you might have the story right, downside action, but that doesn't mean that it's also always a great trade. Just want to kind of mention that.
High risk, man.
Yeah, high risk.
Really high risk. When you get in these dollar stocks, they're high risk. It's bouncing SDC around $1. I mean, it could get hot. Something could happen, but it could also not. And I think when the dust settles, a lot of these companies are probably going bankrupt. I mean, stocks go from 15 to $1. A lot of times they do eventually go to zero, but the path to get there is not simple. So I'm out, man, on anything trading these dollar stocks. You know me, I don't trade this stuff. I trade mega caps. I trade predictable stuff that's working, with the market, stuff that's got relationships. SDC is related to nothing. I've made my career on understanding, that airlines move opposite to oil, which, right now everything correlations are 1. But just understanding the relationships. A stock like Revlon, a stock like SDC is related to nothing. There's no I'll hedge it with this. No, there's nothing. There's no hedging on any of this stuff. So that's why I just stay away. I feel like relationship-based trading is the most consistent trading out there. I stick with that.
Wow, this thing never even had a shot at the IPO. I mean, just from way back to
SDC?
Yeah.
Where did that IPO? I don't even know.
An IPO to
$20?
Yeah.
It's straight down since birth.
Everyone wanted to hit me on this company, but I was like, dude,
we're leaking here. We're going back towards the lows of the session here. Between this 8 o'clock turn was a turn for the worse here.
It's not fun.
Now, interesting. We can argue. No, we're not going to argue, but an inside day, like the spider doesn't. It does not have an inside. It just already violated the low. The S&P Nah, that's a different story. We'd have to drop another 40 handles in order to get to the true low from yesterday that was actually made on Sunday night. I would put that on my sheet, 61.50.
Ugly, man. It's an ugly tape. Continues to be an ugly tape. But with that being said, let's take it back to the overall market talk. You did have that snapback rally. You will have people coming and buying the dip today. So, as a trade, I think I wouldn't be selling in the hole here. Again, like I tweeted yesterday.
Yeah, how can you do that?
You got to use opportunities like the rallies. You're selling rips and buying dips. They're still doing that. That's the core strategy. Like, waving. Never buying the rip, never selling the dip. So today, probably a net buyer of stocks because the simple reason you're coming in. I think it sets up well. I think you got Powell talking. Maybe he tries.
He's going to say something good.
Maybe tries to say something to calm the market's fears, and maybe we blast off. I think it actually sets up well for the bulls today. So long term, I think we still go lower. Short term, I do think that this day, as a day trader, I think I'm a buyer of stocks this morning.
Can I? One of his comments will be, right now we're not seeing any weakening in the economy. Right now, the economy still looks strong to us, something like that. And everyone will be like, gotta buy, something like that. Who knows? And then he'll say, but inflation is still out of control. Then they'll sell, something like that. But we are leaking towards the low of the session. Powell's supposed to speak at 9:30. We talked about that at the top of the show. 9:30, folks. I don't know. They might introduce them then and have a drink of water, but look for the comments after 9:30.
All right, let's talk about a catalyst that hit yesterday. We can take a look at MGNI. I think it's going to be on investors' radar with Netflix and Google mentions. Talk about ad partner for Netflix at the festival has quickly settled on Google, considered a logical choice, but ad tech firm Magnite has emerged as a key potential supplier on the supply side, partner with Ad Age noted. So it looks like Netflix and Google trying to do a little bit of a partnership here, including MGNI. A lot of this has to do with... They
forgot to tell MGNI traders because it hasn't even moved. So
it moved yesterday.
It was yesterday.
Yeah, it was yesterday. It was you see
MGNI.
You see that
this is yesterday's news. Okay.
Yeah. I'm just bringing it back. Just bringing us some news that I think we should touch today at least.
Which stock?
MGNI is too small for us, Joel.
I won't talk about it. I won't even pull it
but
up.
if you want to talk Netflix, Google, we'll always talk Netflix.
Yeah, that's really what I was bringing it without calling the smaller stock that was mentioned with it.
I bought some Netflix on the wife's RSP account. She's probably not loving it. I'm down in it. I bought some more. I'm down in it. Never frown average down while I'm frowning because it's down probably on my average down price too. The double bottom, I'm going to say this. The growthy nosebleed price names, and Netflix is not one of those anymore, but it was at one time, did not make new lows from May 12th. So we know ARKK bringing it up. May 12th, which we tweeted out that day, it has not breached that low. You're putting in a hard bottom in ARKK. You're putting in a hard bottom in like Fastly. Do you see that 10 on Fastly, Joel? FSLY? We took it out, 950 back May 12th, would not go through 10 this time. I think these stocks are buys on pullbacks, not long-term. Nothing is long-term here, folks. But short-term, I think you can lean on the 10 on Fastly. I think on ARKK, you're leaning on the recent low of the move, which is 35.65. I think Unity Software. I think a lot of these, I'm actually looking at these names. People are looking at oil to buy in the pullbacks. I'm looking at those beaten down growth names that just got so oversold and they didn't make new lows on the move. I like the fact that they did not make new lows on the move.
Relative strength, yep.
Netflix did not make a new low on the move too. So looking at the relative strength in the Kathy names, Kathy, we've hated on you a long time. Right now, short term, I kind of like you. Right now, short term, I think there's an opportunity in the beaten down growth names. On today's pullback, I would actually be looking at those names as the potential buying opportunity.
Yeah, the big thing I also wanted to mention with Netflix there is Stifel had put out, Scott Devitt put out a report yesterday on Netflix, and he talked about in there that he is watching here how they attack the international emerging markets where Netflix has yet to make a serious dent. He says there's a way to address the issue by adding advertising supporting subscription tier, something Netflix now plans on implementing so that they could get to more subscribers in the international markets. That's another reason why they're being mentioned with this advertising with Google. All right, let's go ahead. Let's transition. Let's get to our guest here. Let's go ahead. Of course, we got none other than Raghee Horner in the back. Give me a thumbs on up if you're ready. She's always ready, but don't got to question that. Let's go ahead. Let's do it here, guys. Let me get the banner here up. It was the first one there. Managing Director of Futures at Simpler Trading, Raghee Horner. Welcome back to the show. And let's talk a little bit about what you're seeing out there in the action.
Great to see you all.
All right. Well, here we are. Last time we had John, markets were quite a bit higher. We were talking about inflation and the Fed actions, and I know you're really excited about Mr. Powell speaking at 9:30 today. That should make things easy for you. But let's just talk about the 3/4 hike. The street kind of begged for it. It goes up on it and then gives it all back the next day. So it's just hard to interpret where you think the Fed is, and let's just start with the future course of interest rates.
All right. So if we take a look at the Fed Fund futures, and great to see you, Joel. Blue is definitely your color. Look at that. Got the blue shirt, got the blue background.
That's true.
I love
That's
it.
true.
I love it. It's a color of calm. And that's exactly what we need in this market right now, because we take a look at the Fed Fund futures. If you look at the July expectations, there's another 3/4 of a point coming. Now, what's really cool about what Fed Fund futures are telling us, and by the way, you don't need to look at Fed Fund futures. I think a lot of you probably do, but the CME has this very cool site. I think if you Google countdown to FOMC, you'll get their graphical representation of what is expected at each meeting. So what I'm looking at right now is pretty much what's been projected since March, which is where our dot plots are heading, where the 3/4 of a point hike for the July meeting is pretty much baked in. I think 98% plus expectation. You go out into, and that's it. Yeah. And you go out into September, and it just continues to be this very, very aggressive approach. And the question is, why don't they see what's happening in the stock market? Yeah, of course. But we know CPI, PCE, they've been en fuego, and non-farm payroll and GDP have been really stable. That gives the Fed the green light. They see Fed Fund futures. They know what people are expecting. They are not going to not take advantage of this path that we as traders and investors have accepted. They've got to jump now, because heck, we got to cut later. So right now, let's be tolerant of the chop. I've been mostly day trading, and then come next year, have that cash on the sidelines, because I'm very optimistic when I look out 10 or 12 months.
So
All
10
right,
or 12. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, Mitch.
No, you're okay. No, one of the things that I've been seeing, and I kind of noted this also, and I kind of agree with what you're stating a little bit here, the extreme, right? And maybe going extreme into one side, because they do got to come back towards the middle, right? And that's one thing that I've pointed at least from what I've seen in my kind of years of investing now, is that I've always seen the Fed try to play a little bit of extreme. At first, it was a lot of quantitative easing, and now we're seeing the complete opposite, a lot of quantitative tightening. And so is this kind of what you're seeing, Raghee?
Look, if we think about the clowns at the circus, they've got to puff the balloon up and then they pop them too. That's the same thing with the FOMC chuckleheads. So yeah, I'm with you. They create every bubble, and then they have to go fix the bubble that they've created. So look, I'm not a Fed hater. I'm not a Fed lover. I just know it moves the market. If there's a number one macroeconomic catalyst, it's always them, right? So I think as neutral as I can be, and that's exactly what your comments are. Look, we just accept what it is, and we trade what we see, or we invest in what we see. And I'm with you 100%. So I'm not here to, I don't want to necessarily say, look at what they've done wrong and inflation wasn't transitory. There's no trade in that, right? There's no trade in front running the Fed. We saw bond traders and equity traders try to do that in May. Big mistake, right? To be front running Fed shift in policy so early in a tightening cycle. So, all I can say is trade what you see, shorten the time frame if need be. And that's where my mindset's at.
I mean, I think a lot of people, criticize, the current administration, and they criticize, Powell, for the policies and everything. But uh, if does anybody remember, 2020? I mean, there was a very unusual situation, right? Something that hasn't happened in a century, and we needed it to come out of it. We needed liquidity. Now, did they overdo it a little bit? Maybe, but I mean, as far as I look at it, they had to react to very unusual circumstances, and now we're kind of poking our head out, coming out of the sand on this, and now we're dealing with a geopolitical situation with Russia, which no one talks about. No one. It seems like it's hardly in the news, and so I mean, I think the combination of those two things, I mean, makes it, the policy very difficult, moving forward. You mentioned, the short term trading and the analysis. Is there any sectors that, you feel, maybe it can bottom a little bit ahead of some of the others?
So if we just go back to good old fashioned sector rotation, I just don't see it. If I use a Ferris wheel analogy, I'm looking for the
Sorry about
outperformers
that.
at the top of the range. No, I love the introduction. I love it. It makes me feel the drama of the moment. I love it. So if I'm looking at the top of the heap in terms of sectors and the bottom, we're not seeing communications or cloud or the likes of TAN or semis rolling up while we're seeing profit taking, say, in energies or things like that. I'm not seeing any rotation. I'm just seeing broad-based, we want to buy things, or broad-based, we don't want to be in stocks. And that's very tricky right now, because I would expect in this environment, XLP, staples, XLU, utilities would find a little love. And there's just no love for those defensives right now when you think about the way in which, say, the NASDAQ, XLK, XLC, XLY are behaving. And I think it's a little too soon, but this is where I think the patience will pay off, where if we focus on, say, weekly timeframes, and that's where my life is at. I'm either on a 5-minute time frame right now, or I'm on a weekly, because the dailies are kicking my butt. So I'll go out and say, all right, what is my wish list? Where are those 200 exponentials on the weekly? Am I seeing patterns of support form around them? Or are they just flat out in downtrends, which tell me, hey, let's wait? And I think if longer term from a portfolio or positioning standpoint, I can just accept I am not going to pick the bottom, but we will see a transition. I think the thing that's keeping traders being a little too aggressive is they're remembering the 2019 and 2020 V bottoms, right? We know when in
Got that.
2018 to
Great
2019, they
Yeah.
shifted the monetary policy on a dime. In 2020, I mean, for crying out loud, the Federal Reserve empowered the Treasury's special purchase vehicle to buy HYG and JNK. So we have the Treasury buying stocks. So again, V bottom. I don't, in technically, or even in the way that they're projecting monetary policy and the way that Fed fund futures are very well aligned, we're going to have a normal bottoming process. I don't think we're going to get blindsided by a V bottom. So I think it makes sense to be patient.
Everybody's so scared. It's such a great point, Raghee. Such a great point. And this is what everybody's so scared of, missing the bottom. I don't want to miss it. I don't want to miss it. And they're getting killed because of that. I mean, they're literally getting, like, okay, they think they got it. And then, heaven forbid anybody takes a loss. I mean, this is the way, that so many people operate, especially newer traders. I can't take a loss.
Right.
Then they're like stuck, and then it starts leaking and leaking and leaking. And it's not like you get slammed. It's like this slow leak, this death by 1,000 cuts. And the reason like we V-bottom in March is because we went straight down and we went straight back up. It was an event. It was like, the pandemic. We thought the world was ending. Oh, no, it's not ending. Let's come right back. This is completely different circumstances. So I love the point you're making. How do you approach it then, Raghee? Like, how do you approach these markets as an investor? Take the trading cap off as an investor. We do see that stocks have gotten cheaper, but how do you approach it so that you don't get burned?
So the first thing I'm going to look for are little signs of the equity markets looking at the US dollar, Fed fund futures, and bonds. So I'm looking at those corners of the market right now saying, all right, is the dollar going to level off, or is it still very much in an uptrend? I still think we're in an uptrend. Our bond yields, whether you look at TNX or whether you say look at IEF or TLT for the 10-year and the 30-year, are those still heading lower? I believe they're still very much heading lower. So until we see signs in some of the most basic places, dollar and treasuries, till those are leveling out, we're still discounting what the Federal Reserve is planning for much of this year. The next place I'll start to look is, are we finally seeing any kind of rotation? Again, still we're not seeing it. So I don't know that we're suddenly going to be able to notice that XLP and XLU strength is leveling off and favoring more risk appetite in more, in tech. We're not going to see that sign. So that's going to be probably quite different because we're not getting that rotation. So I think bonds and dollar are the first place to keep an eye on. And then in the meanwhile, as we wait for the Federal Reserve to complete, the only way I can see that we can even project where the wind down could occur is looking at that CME FedWatch tool. It makes it so simple, a beautiful graphical representation of, hey, when are we going to start to ease from 75-point hikes to 50 to 25 to maybe a couple Fed Fund futures contracts where it stabilizes. So we can see that ahead of time. We can see what's being discounted. That's my plan.
All right. Let's see those hands, Raghee. I want to see those hands for a second. Hold those hands up. You still got those diamond hands in Bitcoin?
I do.
Oh, there it is.
I do. I was ready. And this is where, I always say I'm playing a long game. That was a lucky 10K put to work in 2016. So, to your
Are you
point
buying
about,
the dip? Are you buying the dip?
I did buy some. I did buy a little bit.
Okay.
I did. I bought some Ethereum. I bought a little bit of Bitcoin too. Not a lot. Don't want to ruin that triple.
Oh, don't you hate that? When you average up and then you're like, oh my God, my cost basis is just crushed.
You know what's so funny, Joel? I think everything you guys are saying about what we're doing in terms of being patient as equity traders. Look, do I want to buy Bitcoin at 60, 70, 40? No, this is when it's on sale. So the same way Bitcoin would be on sale, if you're a believer in that narrative, is the same patience I think we need to deploy with the weekly timeframes with stonks, right? It's the same thing. So yeah, I'd be remiss if I didn't say the same way I'm shopping for Amazon or the same way I'm shopping with an XLC or Meta is the same way I'd be patient with the pullbacks in Bitcoin. But what's so sad is my phone, and probably your phone too, rings off the hook when Bitcoin's at 63,000, and yet it's crickets and tumbleweeds at 23,000 or 20,000, right? Like, this is when people should be asking me, is this the time to get in? Not 3 times as much. So I love the patience that you all are teaching everybody. Wait for stuff to go on sale. I'm a child of the 70s. Wait for that blue light to start spinning in the middle of the store. It's going to serve us well.
Yeah, I think I love what you're saying there. A lot of patience on both sides. So where we could talk about the market, but also you're talking here cryptocurrency. And is there any levels that you're looking at for like kind of certain levels to hit so that you can start adding in? I know I've been looking at the 10,000 range because I just took a simple retracement from the last time we went from like 20,000 to like 3,500. Is there any level that you're looking for a nice retracement level?
I think what hurts me the most is just where my cost basis is, because as I've told you guys before, I got very lucky, being in Forex. This digital Forex came along, and like I said, I've got a cost basis that's way south of here. So I'm very, very choosy. When you mentioned 10, I'm with you. The number that I have written down on a sticky note is 9,200.
Boom.
Not that we're going to go there, but again, that's that blue light special in the middle of the store. We're saying, all right, if this is an opportunity. The other one, by the way, which I was watching, was 27. Right, that's where that weekly exponential kicked in. So I was watching 27 to see if there was any volume buildup, to see if there was any shift in the narrative. There wasn't, and I'll do the same thing at 9,200. So I like your 10 figure a lot.
Yeah, it's something to keep on watch. One of the things is no one's going to know, but I think it's important to kind of have an area. And I like how you have your area, You got your little sticky note. I do that all the time. I think that's such a definitely plus. So you guys take notes on that. Definitely have yourself some little notes on your desk to keep things in mind, especially because there's always so much action going on. Now, one of the things that we've been starting to see is the demand destruction in commodities, right? And is this what you're continuing to see on out there now?
Whatever happened in April when there was an unceremonious dump of corn, wheat, I mean, a lot, your DBA, Archer Daniel Midland, they just all got punched in the mouth. And I still, to this point in time, I can't put my finger on the why of that sudden shift. But nonetheless, money flowed out. I accept it. We say, hey, okay, more selling pressure than buying support. And we move on. I mean, everything isn't a murder she wrote mystery. I think a lot of traders and investors would do well saying, I don't know why, but we can see the catalyst from a calendar standpoint. It really hasn't come back. The only place that I'm still somewhat optimistic for upside is natty gas, crude oil, RBOB gasoline. So, your UNG, your USO, your UGA, I'm still keeping an eye on those. Right now, obviously very volatile, lots of headlines. Not macroeconomically, though. Lots of just headlines about, things that are either legislatively on the back burner or Russia and Saudis. Russia made a very strange comment last week. We are committed to OPEC long term. Well, duh, you're the plus and OPEC plus for crying out loud. But these things move the market. Novak starts running his mouth off, and all of a sudden we've got to respond to, are they not committed? Are they committed? To me, that's noise. If I can stick with the broader trend that's in place, which I believe it is, if there's better traction in those three commodities, then I can start to open up to FCG, XOP, XLE, and I'm still somewhat optimistic. But boy, it's been a rough ride popping that Dramamine and keeping from getting seasick on this volatility.
That's how it is out there. Definitely, you might need to take your motion sickness pills out there with this market. But appreciate you coming on like always, Raghee Horner. And one of the things that I wanted to kind of mention is how much love you're getting in the chat right now. Lots of mentions in the chat. They're definitely loving you, telling you they're a total badass out there. And one of the things that I want to mention here is if you guys want to catch some more action, because they asked, did she have a YouTube channel also? Yeah, so I got you guys. What I'm going to give you guys right now is Simpler Trading's channel. So definitely go ahead and hit the subscribe button there. And she also does the charts and coffee. So check that out. That's from Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. to 9:20 a.m. Eastern. Go check out Raghee, and we'll definitely have you back. Thank you for always coming on and giving us some great insight.
Hey, thank you guys for being some voices of calm and tactical, practical strategies in a world full of so much noise and BS. I am always I love hanging out with you all. And I respect so much what you do for the retail trader and investor. It's just a great thing you all do. And again, much respect.
Much love. We'll definitely have you back and appreciate
Let's
it.
keep the love fest going here. No, thank you, Raghee. It's great because our weakness is really like the foreign currency market, and we follow it, and it's really a
we
big
don't follow
part
it
of the
close.
market. And
Yeah.
to have someone with your knowledge, that because we don't. Obviously, we don't know everything, but that just bringing that angle and that approach, it really rounds out. And I say I'm going to get you on again sooner, and I'm going to start. I'm going to make me a sticky note right now, and I'm going to say get Raghee back on again soon because you're a fantastic guest. You're moving up in the top 5. I just want you to know.
We're definitely doing great, and you can see the chat still, even a lot of reactions there. Definitely showing some love. Let's go
What
ahead.
are you buying out there, Triple D?
What are we looking at?
A little
What
bit of
are
a
we looking
rally.
at?
I think I'd like to belong into the Powell comments. So
I would
will
not
say
want to
that.
be short. I would not want to be short at all.
I don't want to be
I would
short.
not.
I definitely
Nope.
don't want to be short going in, but I kind of feel like I want to belong in the Powell comments. A bit of gambling. He could say something the market doesn't like, and we could roll over. It's always a little bit of a coin flip, but I feel like we've sold off.
Yeah.
Ahead of it. They're nervous ahead of it. I feel like it's not going to be that bad. So I'm a buyer of this dip today. As much as I was a seller of the rip yesterday, which I absolutely was, I tweeted it out yesterday. I said it was a good day to sell stocks. It was absolutely a good day to sell stocks. I think this morning is a better day to buy stocks. So buying dips, selling rips until further notice.
Yeah, but Dennis, it wasn't a good idea at the open. Believe me, I can testify to that.
Selling stocks.
There was no, and I think that's what added to the momentum yesterday. Everyone was like, "Oh, we're 100 points off that low from Friday. This is ridiculous. We're going right back down." And I think people plowed in early on the short side, and then they just got their face. There was no resistance in the
Yeah,
S&Ps.
I'll give you that.
I think that happened. So
I think
later
that's
today,
more the
yeah.
reason why we could rally today is that you have those people who plowed in at the open yesterday saying, "Thank you very much, give me my out, and I'll take it." I think this sets up well as a buy the dip opportunity. Again, we don't know anything. Nobody's got a crystal ball. Just feeling the market. I feel like we should be buying stocks today. Not long term, short term.
Definitely something that I'm going to be watching for. Do we get a little bit of that push up there? I don't know if I'll be as brave as you right out the gates, but we'll definitely be talking about it on live trading. We'll see what comments we get out of Powell. Of course, is going to be testifying at 9:30. I do want to go ahead and mention that again. That's exactly where it's going to be. If you guys want to go towards the government website here, you guys can find a link to watch it live. That's on the federalreserve.gov. So check that out. That's where I always get the information just straight from the Federal Reserve government site. And there you guys see it, 9:30 today. And just to give you the insight, tomorrow will be at 10 a.m. So I don't know why one was at 9:30, one was at 10, but hey, I don't determine it. All I do is I watch and wait to react to see what happens in the markets. All right, 8:57. Could we maybe sneak a chart in here?
Sure.
What do you guys? Let's see. You guys throw up some stocks you guys want us to cover really quickly.
Something good.
Yeah. Let's see what you guys have for us. One area that we did see get really kind of a bounce back was Tesla yesterday. Let's go ahead. Let's do a quick look at Tesla.
On that one.
That one definitely
It's
a bounce.
the same bill.
But, yeah.
It's the same bill, and this is that the stocks that did not breach their May lows. Here's another one, did not breach its May low. Those are the setups that I actually like right now. So look at your charts, look at those May lows. If the stock held its May lows recently, because we know SPY did not, this has kind of been a value wreck. This has been not a growth wreck. So the recent sell-off, the 11% sell-off in the last few weeks, everybody thinks, oh yeah, it's a Kathy sell-off. No, it was a value sell-off. It was a Warren Buffett sell-off. It was like low PE value trap sell-off. This was not a growth tech sell-off. The growth tech sell-off happened in May. And those stocks have not breached those bottoms. And those stocks are the ones I'm actually looking to buy on pullbacks. Tesla is that growthy tech. So with the nosebleed valuation, so it's still in the ARKK. As long as it's holding those lows, 620. As long as it's holding, we don't know. It might go, but as long as it's holding, I think you're a buy or pullbacks on those stocks. Again, that would be my out as those May lows. Now, this one's a long ways off of it now because of yesterday's rally. So there may be better setups, but I've said Unity. I don't have any of these stocks. I'm freely talking about them Fastly, but I'm looking at them today and thinking, if I get a little pullback here this morning into this, these are the ones that I might try for short-term trades.
All right.
I don't have a feel on Tesla today at all.
Yeah, I mean that'd be pretty hard there. I mean, we'd be definitely shooting fish in a barrel there. Well,
if you really wanted, the pre-market low, I think if you're buying, you gotta. I mean, you should have. If you wanted to buy Tesla, you should have got up at 4 a.m. And bought it because that pre-market's low in. You've had steady buyers. If I was long it, I'd like to see what happens at the close. A little bit of resistance there, and then yesterday's high. But don't have a great feel from the buy side. SPOOs are now back at that 8 a.m. close, right here at 1550. So we just had a nice 10-point rally coming in. Just about to the open. Someone asked about CCL. I know
there
it's
you go. Let's sneak one in there. My man.
Double bottom. Yeah, double bottom. You got a low to lean on here.
Man, I don't like that chart at all. So way different than you look at those growth tech names. These are the value traps right now. This, not that they're making money, but everybody thinks they're. But this is ground zero. Fuel costs, people, high end stuff. I mean, going on a Carnival cruise is going to cost your family 10, 12 grand. I mean, and sometimes, you know, I know they can do them for 5, 6, but then you get on there and the booze bill and all the other stuff. And by the end of the day, you know, you're a lot of money. This is stuff that's ground zero for if we're going into a recession. You know, your Unity software, you're doing different things. That's not ground zero. I mean, this stuff is ground zero. So this is the kind of stuff that I don't want to own right now. And it's making new lows on the move. I mean, the stock just went from 14 to 9. You're like, oh, it's so cheap. Well, you know what? It's cheap for a reason, and that's because there's a lot of demand destruction going to happen in this industry, and they are still, I don't think the ships are sailing, but they're still burning cash here, and that's a concern.
Nope. A lot of long-term debt, 29.88 billion on the financials there. So that's a lot of debt there. All right, we'll go ahead and wrap it on up, guys. It was a great show for us. We covered a lot here, but like always, you guys can stay with Joel on PreMarket Prep Plus as you go ahead and cover some tickers on there. Any guests on today?
We missed a lot today. Yeah, gonna have Alicia Reese. It's Wednesdays with Wedbush, and she's gonna talk media and entertainment. So I guess if there's any apes out there, they can come out and hear and talk about AMC and whether there's some buying opportunities in that sector. So, hey, Mitch, I'll check in with you later on. Triple D, go get them, and everyone have a great day.
Boom, boom. We'll keep it going here. We'll get Joel on out of here. I'll let him go get to PreMarket Prep Plus. So go ahead and check that out, guys. Do me the favor, guys. Looks like we have 1,500 people in here. We are not even getting 50% of you guys to give us the opinion if you guys liked or not liked the show. This is where it's important, guys. That's why we ask you guys for the like. It's the feedback. We need it from you guys. So do us the favor. Right now, take a second if you haven't, and just choose like or dislike. If you don't like the show, hey, let us know how to improve it. But I'll tell you one thing. We definitely appreciate you guys giving us the feedback, and it helps us continue to grow and stay on every single day live for free. But up next, guys, coming up at 11 a.m. Eastern, we'll get into it in the List Makers Show. I want to go ahead and tell you guys a little bit about the List Makers Show. Don't miss out, guys. We're going to have we're going to talk esports. This one's all on esports. We have Zunaid leading and Michael leading. I'll be stepping out in trying to do an interview with Ann Han from Super League Gaming. That's going to be coming up later. This will be starting at 11, but we got a lot here that we'll talk about, all about esports. So if you guys are looking to dive on in today's List Maker, you guys are in at the right spot right here on Benzinga. Up next, we'll get into some live trading action. After that, we'll get into the List Makers. You guys stick around. We got an action-packed day for you right here on Benzinga. Like always, hit the subscribe down below if you guys want to be notified the moment we go live to get you guys the informational edge on out there. Let's go, guys. It's time to sound the alarm and get towards the guys on live trading. So I'll see you guys all over there. And like always, do me the favor. Support us. Let everybody know that PreMarket Prep is the #1 show that you guys get the information in the morning to get to your trading on action. Let's go.